Okay, I am here with two of my favorite students. Initially, I was kind of thinking that I wanted to talk to you about how you guys came to my accounting class and how that experience was inconsistent with what you thought and how you survived it and what are the things that you did. But given what's happened to both of you over the last couple of weeks in terms of figuring out what schools you've been invited to attend after CSM, your entire experience here at CSM, not just within my class, and specifically, actually, maybe both of you can sort of give yourself a proper introduction and then just highlight, your mindset when you were first stepping foot at CSM. Like, how did you feel? What were you thinking? What were you worried about? What were you excited about? Stuff.
Do you wanna go first?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabby, and I'm in my second year at CSM. I'll be graduating soon with a degree in business administration and economics, and I'll be transferring in the fall to UCLA to major in economics and hopefully minor in accounting. But initially, my mindset in my first semester at CSM, it was pretty negative, I would say. I was super insecure with the fact that, out of high school, all of my friends and, peers were going straight to four universities, but so that made me really insecure, and I was definitely intimidated having none of my friends going to the same campus, but that kind of affected my whole first semester and made it pretty bad, but I'm really grateful for what my experience turned
What
out
were
to
you
be.
worried about the most? I totally relate to being intimidated and insecure. Like, that's clearly the way I felt when I first stepped foot on my community college. But, like, is there something that you were most worried about?
I think I was just worried about not making friends and not having
Interesting.
a good experience. That was my biggest worry as someone who's I think I lean more towards an introverted personality, so I think that was one of my
Interesting.
biggest worries.
What about you, Ada?
Okay. Hi, I'm Adamary Lopez. I'm a first generation low income college student. I'm also getting my AA in business administration and my AA in econ. I'll be transferring to UCLA studying business economics. I was also really intimidating when I first joined CSM. I think because I just really didn't know how the college process even worked. I mean, straight out of high school, I didn't apply to any schools. I didn't know what any schools were except for like Berkeley and like Harvard, like obviously the most populous or like most known schools. So I just didn't know how anything worked. And I didn't even know like tag existed or how like I've never seen any of the applications. So I was just kind of nervous about like, okay, what am I gonna do after CC? Do I just stay there and do I just continue going on and like do something? Like I just didn't know what I was gonna do.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's exactly the way I felt as well. I had no idea. Did you feel like you were gonna graduate from college? Was that the end game?
I think I knew that I'd probably finish at CSM, but I never knew that I would be able to. I mean, even just like a month ago, I was still doubting myself into getting into all of these different schools. So, like, I never knew that the end game or end goal was going to like a UC. I mean, my first original dream school was UC Santa Cruz. So I was just kind of not to everybody who goes to UC Santa Cruz, but I was kind of just going for whatever was the easiest to get into.
Yeah, I don't even think I knew that I was gonna go to a 4-year. What about you, Gabby? Did you feel like you were gonna transfer off to a 4-year university? Was, like, that the ultimate goal?
That was the ultimate goal for me. I think I did have a sense of comfort knowing that out of high school I did apply to these colleges and I did get into some. But I also had another sense of comfort with my brother who went through the whole community college process as well, and he ended up at UCLA. So yeah, my main goal was to just transfer and my dream school was UCLA, so I'm happy to
Nice.
be transferring there.
Okay, so uncomfortable, a little bit nervous, a little intimidated. Seems like that's a pretty common feeling for a lot of students there. I mean, there's clearly I've had students in my classes that were really strong students in high school, and maybe they didn't get into their dream school out of high school, so they came to CSM, like, with a portfolio of being a really strong student, like, so there definitely is that experience as well, but I wanna say, like, the most of the students that I cross paths with probably fit the experience that you guys just articulated. Not all their friends are coming to community college. Maybe they don't have, like, a huge, like, portfolio of strong, student performance in high school. Maybe they're the first in their family that has gone off to college. So like that feeling seems pretty common to me. Okay, so I know that like you guys have already let the cat out of the bag. This emotional intention that I was really trying to go with by keeping the end a surprise it's already been ruined.
Damn. Sorry.
So you guys obviously are, have been, you were very successful in your time here. But I'm curious to know, like, over the last 2 years, what was like the one thing that you found to be the hardest about these first 2 years of college? You, pretty much
I
you and
think
your class.
no, I mean, honestly, I think class-wise, you just have to put a lot of effort into it, and it all just comes down to your effort. Like, if you're not putting a lot in, then obviously you're not gonna do the best, and if you're doing a lot, then you're gonna get the outcome that you deserve. But I think the hardest thing for me was making friends and finding a community. I I thankfully I actually had a lot of friends that went to CC Street. I don't think I had like one friend that went to a 4 year and then he actually came back and now is at CSM. And all of my friends practically went here, but because we're like we all and we're still pretty young, but we practically went from high school to just now having to work that it was so hard to talk to my friends and make plans with my friends because all of us were working, doing classes, taking care of our family members. Like, it was so difficult to just even ask all my friends to hang out one weekend because they need a month in advance to get it off their schedule or something. Like, it was so then it was really difficult because my job wasn't very much on a strict schedule. I kinda just go and dog walk, and I was at school just all the time, and school is my big priority, so I would never see them on campus, and I would never, like, talk to anybody. So, like, I would say my first year, it was really hard to, like practically my schedule was go to school, stay at school all day, go work, go home. That's it. Every single day, even on the weekends, I would just stay at home all day, and it really crushed me, and it made me kind of feel like, "What am I doing? I'm doing all this, but what am I actually gonna get
Interesting.
out at the end?"
How about did you have a difficult time balancing working and getting your homework done, studying for class? Like, were there money issues, family issues? Like,
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Money issues, yeah, me and my mom is I only live with my mom, she's always been a single parent to me and my sister, but now it's just me and my mom, and, she is also, disabled and had cancer, so she, doesn't work. So a big part of how money came through was through me working, and, it wasn't a lot. So we were really, not doing even, like, when we were hanging out with each other, it would just be at home. It was kinda hard to just go out and do stuff. Um and then, yeah, I was taking hard classes. I mean, a lot of people say that business is easy, but I think it's really difficult, and I was taking really hard classes, and I was struggling trying to because, I mean, especially I didn't know how to study in high school. I literally did nothing, and I literally just played sports, so I would stay at the I would literally
Yeah.
log in 'cause, Gabby used to work at the front desk of the learning center. She would see me log in and be there for hours just with the tutor helping me do my calc classes and my accounting classes and everything, and I was and then I'd have to just go home and do it myself and then go to work. It was really hard because that's all I was doing every single day.
yeah, I didn't even really know that about you. Like, that's such a awesome backstory, right? Like, I mean, it's not awesome that your mom's disabled and has
Oh, yeah.
cancer, I
Well,
think is what I just heard, and can't work, and that you were taking care of her, but, like, yeah, you just, like, sort of glossed right over that the first pass, and you were like, "Yeah, the biggest thing I was worried about was making friends," when in actuality, like, to me, listening to what you just articulated, like, man.
it's been hard, but I think my mom is also just such a awesome soul that the way that she helped me was by, like, making my food or making sure that, like she was just very much, super helpful at home so that because she knew I was stressed, so she helped me a lot more, like, when it came to, like, folding my clothes and stuff like that, like, she'd see me I also don't have a desk, I finally barely got one, so I'd sit at my kitchen table and just do my work, and she'll be like, "Do you need me to cook you something?" I'm like, "Yes, please." Like, that's how she would help me out, and how I helped out was just trying to bring home
Wow.
some money.
A whole new level of respect for you, above where we were
Thank you.
yesterday. So how about you, Gabby? What do you feel like was the hardest thing about your experience here?
I think similar to Ada, initially, like we mentioned earlier, my mindset was really negative, and my first semester, I didn't put myself out there at all. I had the mindset of just going to community college and going to my classes, coming back home and doing my homework, and that was it. I didn't wanna join any clubs, join campus work or anything like that. But another thing that was hard, I would say, was the freedom, like she said earlier. I feel like compared to high school, there's, like, a lot of optional things, like, a lot of optional work, less strict deadlines and things like that. So it's really up to you to be on your work and on top of all your classes, and that's definitely something that I struggled with initially, and because 'cause I'm the biggest procrastinator ever,
Really?
Yeah.
so I was always yeah, I was always pushing back my work till the last minute, but I think I got better with that over time.
Yeah, I think you did.
Was there a class that you guys took where, like, going into the class, you were concerned about it, and then, like, halfway through the semester, you're like, "This fucking like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to pass this class." Was that ever an issue for you guys?
Yeah, with calc, I used to hate math. I only ever liked geometry, and that's because my professor liked Pokemon Go, and my girlfriend would help me out in that. Like, that's literally like, my professor was just super cool and I loved him, but I didn't know anything about math and I hated it. So when I actually took 2 different types of calc. I took applied calc because I didn't know that I thought that was just like, the regular. Then I found out that that's not the one that, like, gets you
Transfer,
into
yeah.
yeah, that gets you into all the schools. So then I switched and took, calc and with analytical geometry. When I first took applied calc, which is supposed to be the easier one, did so bad at it. I didn't know how to study. I would study, like, the night before all my exams, and, I didn't get a terrible grade, I got a B, but that's not the best that you need on your transcript if
Yeah.
you're trying to be competitive, right? I ended up getting an A in the harder one, though, so I don't know how that works. I think I just
Yeah,
learned how to study, and I dedicated myself to, going to a tutor all the time, and
nice.
they helped me as well.
Okay. Keeping with the classic story arc that you guys have already fucking destroyed for me.
Sorry.
The next, I don't know, significant point in any great story is like the turning point. Like the moment you were here at CSM when you were like, wow, I feel like I'm not gonna try to go to UCSC. I feel like I'm gonna try to go to Cal, or like I think I'm gonna be really successful. And like, so when did that take place for you guys? Or what did it look like? Or is it even one moment, or did it happen over time? Was there something that changed in you that you were like, fuck, I think I can do this?
I think for me, it was definitely in my second semester, I started getting more exposure to, like, extracurriculars on school, and I started working 2 jobs, and I think I was kind of like, "Okay, I'm stacking up my resume, I think I actually have the chance to get into my dream school." So yeah, just really getting involved on campus, becoming vice president of business club the following semester, working 2 jobs, I think that really helped give me some confidence in my application
What were
process.
your grades like? Were your grades any different, like, between your first semester and your second semester? Was there any, like no, they were always really good?
So yeah, I'm a straight A student.
Nice.
My parents are pretty strict with
No
grades, so yeah,
shit.
I
So
try my
that was
best.
like an expectation that they had of you? When I graduated from Cal, and I went to go work for this really big firm, and I would always talk to the kids that were just hired, and I was like, how is it?" 'Cause we hired only kids from Cal and Stanford. Every single kid it was expected that they would be a straight A student and that they were gonna be going to an elite college from, like, the 2nd grade. Like, that was the way it was gonna be, and so that's the way I raised my kids. I set the expectations super high, and so, like, it's interesting to hear that that's a similar experience you had. Like, they demanded it. They almost like, I almost demanded it of my kids. and it sounds like your parents are very similar. How did that feel? Is that stressful or is it motivating?
Oh, yeah. It was definitely I think both. It was, definitely stressful, like, having to, get straight A's in all these hard classes like Calc 2 and microeconomics while balancing 2 other jobs. But it also was very motivating, and I think it did help me establish such a strong work ethic and just really good organizational skills overall.
Are your parents college graduates?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
What about you, Anna? Were you always a straight A student here or no? Neither was I, so
No. I'm, like, I'm on the complete opposite side of this. I mean, obviously, when my mom would get, like, that school loop notification
Mhm.
saying that, like, I have a billion missing assignments in, like, middle school and, like, high school as well, she would always be like, "Come on, do your stuff and get up there," but I just never really cared. I was just kinda like, "Okay, I'll do it another day," and honestly, I think a lot of my teachers were just very lenient with me. I don't know why, but they'd be like, "Yeah, just turn it in later." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." So I never had that strict kind of like I think my mom like expected me always to get straight A's, but I never actually did. I kind of just had to do that myself. Knowing that I had a goal of trying to reach Berkeley or UCLA, I then was like, "Okay, the expectation is to get straight A's. I can't do anything other than that." And when I did get a B, I was just like, "Oh, like I'm low key done for," but obviously that wasn't the case. But I never grew up with that. I mean, my mom only went to 3rd grade, and she doesn't know how to read or write right now. I mean, I always have to read stuff to her. So, when she would read those notifications, she would just look at the letter grade and be like, "Okay, you have an F. We need to get that up."
Mhm.
I know
That's
what
all
a
she
fucking
knew.
F looks
But
like.
yeah, she knows she knows that, but everything else is just kinda like that's why I was also I was a pretty bad kid, so I'd always just kinda, like, lie to her and be like, "No, I have an
That's an
extension on that,
A,
it literally
mom.
says
You
right
don't even
there."
know
I'd
how to
be like, "No,
fucking
my pro"
read. Come on.
Yeah. I would be like, "My teacher literally gave everybody an F, like, it's
Oh,
literally
yeah.
fine, like, it's not just me." I would literally lie to my mom, like, I was a really bad kid, but, I obviously grew out of that once I had a goal, like,
So
I'm
so
now an
what was
adult,
it
you
what
know?
do you think what was it that, like, changed the script on you? Like, how did you go from that to, like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go to Berkeley or UCLA?" Like, what happened?
Okay, I think, like, it was just the goal of, like, reaching for something, I mean, and, like, chasing it, I knew that, like, everybody around me and, like, everybody from all these different colleges even just thinking about Skyline and Kenyatta, like, everybody's expectation is to get A's, and I was just like, I can't be the only like, I wanted to be competitive, I wanted to look like an applicant, where they'll be like, kinda, like, just snap and be like, "Yes, we want her." I think when it came to my grades, it was kinda hard because I already had a couple Bs, so my GPA wasn't exactly what I wanted, so I focused a lot more on my extracurriculars, which is what I'm normally better at anyways, so kinda just involved myself into everything. If there was something going on, I was doing it. If there was something related to either Berkeley or UCLA, I was in it. But the, like, switch, I guess it was just that I had a goal. I also just when everybody was getting accepted into colleges, in high school, I was just like, "How can I do that?"
Mhm.
Um, I didn't know how to do it, and I was gonna figure it out. So, I don't know. There wasn't really, like, a switch. I was just like, "I need to do something."
Was there anybody that inspired you to, like, think about Cal or UCLA, or was that just something that you stumbled upon yourself? Like, how did you set such a high goal?
I think, my girlfriend, she really helped me, like, in high school, like I said, I had really bad grades, but once I met her, she was very supportive and helpful of, like, everything that I did. She actually helped me get my first 4.0, in high school. I think it was, like, my fall semester of, like, my junior year or something, and I was taking easy ass classes, so it really wasn't that hard, but I got my first 4.0, and I was just like, "Whoa, I can actually do it," and I saw that when she was going through she's a year older than me, so I saw her go through the college process way sooner. When I saw her go through it and she got into these good schools, especially she's an engineering major, she got into these hard ass schools with a hard ass major, I was just like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
how do I do that?" I did something easier, quote unquote, right? But I was just like I was inspired by it, and just seeing her work ethic, like, inspired me to also do the same. But it wouldn't have been anybody around me. Like, I mean, nobody around me has gone to college, and like I said, all of my friends go to CC, and they're all here now. So, if I never met her, I think my life would be really
No
different.
shit. Does she know that?
Yes, I talk to her about it all the time. I tell her I I was never like I was never a straight A student or anything like that. But they always tell me to give myself some props, but low key it was my girlfriend that kind of was just like, "You need to do something." And I was like, "Okay, let me do it." It was really all her, but then I had to
Yeah.
just put the effort in.
How about picking a major? How did you guys did when you came to CSM, did you know you wanted to be a business major with an emphasis in economics or accounting, or was like, did you grow into that while you were here?
Like I said, I played a lot of sports in high school, and I was really into sports. I think I played water polo, flag football. I don't know how to swim. I don't really know how they let me on that team. I played water polo, softball, flag football, soccer, and
Jesus.
wrestling, I think. I was like, "Okay, the only thing that I like is sports. What can I do to somehow get into that?" So I chose kinesiology as my major when I first got here, my first semester, and I took a walking class, and I was like, dude, I'm just walking around tracking and then turning in a submission. I was kinda just like, I don't know how to feel about this. And then I was starting to think about real estate, and I was just like, but real estate isn't like a major that like transfers
Mhm.
over unless you're like going to like
Yeah.
a CSU or
Yeah.
something. I think they might have some
Yeah.
like real estate emphasis. And I was just like, I need to pick between kinesiology or business. And actually what I did was I went to the like counselors here, but I forgot what type of counselor she was. It was like a career counselor. That's who it was. And I was like talking to her about it. I was like, I don't know what to choose. Like, what do you think I should choose? And I told her which one I like the most and like which one or like how I feel about both. And she was like, you just sound like you like real estate way more. Like, why don't you just do that? And I was just like, okay. So then I just did. And then when I saw my degree works that I'd have to take all these math classes, I was like, oh my
What
God,
the
I think I
fuck
did the
I need to go
I
back to
think
the
I
walking
yeah, I was like,
class.
"Oh my God, how do I go back?" I was just like honestly, both ways, I wasn't a math or a science person, but I think I definitely wasn't a science
Mhm.
person. I think I got a 50% C in my chemistry class when I took it in high school. Like, I was not gonna do
Yeah.
that all over again. And, you know, business was hard, but I'm glad I'd made the switch. I'm so
Nice.
happy I did.
What about you, Gabby?
Oh, for me, I had no idea what I wanted to do, honestly, coming into CSM. That's why I chose community college because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. But in high school, I was really into journalism and I was a newspaper editor, I was a newspaper writer, and then I had extracurriculars outside of school also relating to that. So I kind of when I applied to college, that's kind of all I really applied for because I was like, okay, they'll see that my colleges kind of like I mean not my colleges, my extracurriculars show a passion and maybe they'll accept me. But then like when I got the acceptances, I was like, I don't want to do this at all. Like I don't know why I even applied for that. So yeah, that's why I ended up at CSM. But for business, I chose business specifically because I thought it would give me a lot
Yeah.
of range, with regards to classes. You know, there's economics, there's accounting, business law. I just, like, looked at all the, like, degree requirements and thought that, that would be something for me to explore and hopefully find a passion of mine. And also, like, Adamari, I'm not a science person. I absolutely hate science. I was not gonna do something that involves science at all. So, I saw the degree requirements and didn't see a lot of science, so I was like, "This is perfect." But yeah,
Man, we're shitting on the
I ended up
science
yeah.
department today.
But yeah, I'm also a huge math person, so that was seeing all the math classes and things like that was something that interested me as well. But I ended up loving accounting thanks to you, so I'm very
Shout
happy about
out to
that.
me. Thanks for that. It's funny that you say that you like accounting right after you just talked about liking math because I personally don't see accounting being heavy in math whatsoever. And that's unfortunately something I didn't realize until like 25 years into my profession. I chose accounting because I thought it was going to be about math because I really liked math. And what I realized when I started teaching accounting, I was like, man, my whole life was like a huge mistake because I chose accounting because I loved math and there was never any math and and what I was like, "Oh my god, that's so crazy." So yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so let's move to the process and what actually worked for you. So like you've you're at some point while you're here at CSM, you decided you guys were going to shoot for the stars. You like going to do something really profound. Um what are the types of things that you did? Like, what did the process look like for going from the terrible kid, B student to straight A's? And Gabby, like, what were you doing and what did you continue to do? What did your system look like? Did you go to office hours? Did you participate in study groups? I know Ada, you mentioned that you went to the learning center a lot. Like, what is it that you guys did to put together like a couple of semesters of really good transcripts?
I think for me, just acting like a four-year university student from day one, sitting in the front of my class, in the front of my classes and, talking to my professors, asking them questions, just staying engaged in classes. I think that's what really helps me, I guess, stay focused with my classes and honestly just really like them. But yeah, just treating a community college like a university was something that was really helpful. And obviously going to office hours, I know for Calc 2, that was something that was like definitely a hard subject for me, but going to office hours, my professor was really helpful and things like that. Tutoring is also super helpful and that just definitely helped me stay focused and get straight
What was
A's.
it like going to office hours? Was it intimidating the first time?
I think yeah, because out of high school, we didn't really have, like, office hours or anything like that. So I definitely was intimidated. I didn't know what it was gonna be like at all. So I was like, "Do I just go up to the professor and ask him questions? Like, are there gonna be other people there?" But yeah, it was basically like that. There was some people and there's other people who needed help in office hours, and we just asked the professor our questions whenever we like in, like, order, like, whoever wanted to go. But it was really helpful. The professors here at CSM were always really engaged and always wanted to help us, so that was definitely something that was reassuring.
I had never went to office hours. Never. I was always terrified of office hours. I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm talking to my professors one on one. That's crazy." Um, how about you, Ada? Any what did you do besides going to the learning center?
I also did office hours. Are you wait, sorry, before I answer the question, are you, like, talking about, like, what we did
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
successful
or
in, like,
just
our
like, yeah,
classes?
to
Or, like, as
like, how did you go from like, what did you do to put together like really good grades or put together a really good college application to transfer out of here? Like, what are the things that you did day to day that made you successful?
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of just set a schedule based on the tutors that were in the learning center. I would see what the math tutor would where when he would be there and when
Uh,
I would be able to be there, and then I'd be there every single time. And thankfully, like honestly, it would only be like me and sometimes some other person. Like he was probably tired of me, but like when we would sit down and talk for a little bit, then we got to know each other. So I thought we were friends. I don't know if he thought we were friends, but I thought we were friends, and
he
he
was
would still
like
help
the
me with my
best
math
friend you
homework,
could
and I loved it.
possibly have, right? He's like, you're gonna
Yeah,
fucking
he
help
was
me with my
awesome. Like
homework, right? Those are good.
I think it depends on your tutor. He was a really good
Mhm.
tutor. Like he knew
No
how to
kidding.
teach things to me, and when I would get frustrated, he wouldn't get frustrated with me, and I was just like, "Wow, this kid is like too nice." Like I don't know how he deals with me, but like thank you for dealing with me. And then I also went to office hours as well. I went to the math resource center when I was also taking my math classes. I'd go to my professor, and it was a lot more intimidating then as well because
Mhm.
sometimes it's really hard to ask for help. I feel, and it took me a really long time to learn that like the more you ask for help, the more you're gonna succeed. Like, when I would just sit there, I would get frustrated with myself, and then it literally is just like, you raise your hand and they'll come over, and it's like that. Like,
You're like,
it's really
holy
not that
shit.
hard, but in my head yeah, in my head, I was just like, "Oh my god, he's gonna walk up to me and be like, 'We just learned this, are you stupid?'" I mean, I did have a teacher like that in math, like, in high school where I would go up to him and ask him questions, and he'd just kind of repeat the question back to me, and I wouldn't get help. So I always would replay that over and over again, but I learned that, like Gabby said, CSM's, professors really want you to succeed and are always trying to put an effort to make you do good, and that's pretty much what my professor was doing. He was never ever mean to me. He would always just be so helpful and sit there and wait until I was done with my question and then go help somebody else. Like, he was putting in so much effort just to help us, and so many people take it for granted. Like, he would send out announcements being like, these are my office hours, and even just email me if you wanna do one-on-ones, and I took advantage of it. I was there. I if you're not going, then Imma go, you know? I'm gonna do it.
Do you guys feel like your ed plan had any big role in your success here at CSM? No
No.
shit.
No.
My ed plan is nothing like
Yeah.
my schedule, my courses. It's
Yeah.
not the same at all.
I kind of had to figure stuff out on my
Me
own
too.
and had to force myself to do the things that I wanted to do. And this is no shade to my counselors,
Yeah.
but they wanted me to take an extra year because of how many units I was gonna take, and I was just like, I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
So I just kind of didn't listen to their ed plan and made my own ed plan.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. I mean, sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it was helpful my first semester and,
Yeah.
like, maybe my second one. Then once everything started again, I would make my ed plan, bring it to them, and if they said yes, they said yes. If they said no, then I still
Nice.
said yes, you know? So, it was kinda
Yeah,
just
that's
it was
maybe
there.
maybe I'm not articulating myself the right way. Maybe I don't know what an ed plan is. I mean, I guess I definitely don't know. But but like having an idea of like the classes you have to take in order to transfer out here. Do you think that like understanding like there's 60 units that you have to complete and it has to be this combination of classes, did the fact that you knew like, you know, maybe not all at once, but you knew there were a set of classes that you had to take in order for you to transfer out of here, that knowing the classes you had to take, was that helpful at all?
Yes, for me.
For me too.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had somebody like what I
How
am
you
to
did to Hudson.
Hudson because I kind of had to research myself
Yeah.
and see if I was able to take these classes. And like I said earlier, I was taking applied calc, and that calc only like, it excludes UCLA for some reason. I don't think they articulate it the
Mhm.
same. So, when I was talking this was just a random day. I think we had a business club meeting, but it got canceled. So, Gabby, Nick, and
Yeah.
Ganem were hanging out, and I was like, "Oh, like, what are your guys' classes that you're gonna take next semester?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm on track." Like, I was like, "Hey, yes, I'm on track. Like, I know what I'm
Oh, yeah, I
doing."
remember that.
And then they were like, "Wait, why are you taking that calc?" And I was
That's
like, "What do you
What are you
mean?"
doing?
Yeah, I was like, "What do you mean? That's what I'm supposed to take?" And they were like, "No, you're supposed to take this one." I was like, you know, like, damn, like, I completely am not on track, and I I think, um, going down and sitting down and looking at assist and
Mhm.
looking at what classes are recommend like, going and
Yeah.
reading through Reddit and just seeing what you need is something you need to do because, I mean, thankfully, I still had
Yeah.
time and I was able to do it, but if I just waited one more semester, I would've been
Did you use ChatGPT at all to, like, help you figure out what classes articulated to Yeah, Luke and I started doing that
no.
with yeah, because he was trying to figure out
Yeah.
what math class to take that hits Cal Poly and, like, San Diego State and a couple of other private schools, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna ChatGPT it," and he, like, figured out what math class articulated to all those different schools. I was like, "Fuck, that's so cool, man."
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea, but honestly, what I did is I just had 50 tabs
No
open of
shit.
Mhm.
assist and compared every single school and then saw which one was that went to all of them,
Mhm.
and then put myself on the like, I registered for the
Interesting.
class and I took it, you know? It was a hassle. I had to check with my
Yeah.
counselors and then see if I'd be able to do it, check my prereqs and all that, but,
For
yeah,
me,
I mean,
the
that works
the only
also.
reason I'm asking is because I've spent a lot of time thinking about what were some of the things that helped me get through my journey, and I'm convinced that my ed plan or, like, the list of classes that I had to take was, like, a huge contributing factor. I had a list of classes that it was like, wow, I could see how every class that I'm gonna take over the next 2 years, it took me 4 years, but over the next 2 years, like, how it leads me to the end goal, like, you have to have, like, a really good plan, and I've, like, used that same concept throughout the rest of my life. I was like, "Hey, I wanna get a CPA license," and I was like, "Okay, let's figure out all the things I have to do that." Learning that in school or, like, at a community college for me was, like, a big deal. It had, like, a and it kept me motivated. It was like, "Man, I gotta fucking get an A in this class because if I don't, like, that might blow my chances," and
I mean, I think you got a good point. Yeah, and ed plan, I think so our ed plan is the same thing as yours, but we also set up an ed plan
with our
with our
counselors.
counselors, and those don't really work. But when we do our own,
They
Nice.
work.
they work. So that's what I think we're a little bit confused about. But I never actually thought about it like that. Yeah, you just gotta make a plan and
Yeah.
then follow it
It's so
and go through
simple,
with it.
but yeah,
But
it's like because like,
yeah.
I will tell people all the time, like, "Yeah, I'm a high school dropout." Like, when most of my friends were graduating from high school, I was in jail, and then I graduated from Cal. Like, everybody hears those 2 endpoints, and they're like, "Fuck, how the fuck did you do that?" That's such a and it's like, yeah, honestly, I really didn't do anything that crazy. I just went to community college and got a list of classes that I needed to take to transfer to Cal, and it was, like, pretty easy. And so, like, the process to, like, do great things is actually to me, it's always been kinda easy if you just know what you're supposed to be doing. It's when you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, you feel lost, and it's like, it just seems so impossible, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, here's kind of an abstract question to sort of move towards wrapping this stuff up. D do you feel like a different person now compared to who you were when you first landed on CSM's doorstep? And can you just, like, talk about how different you are or how it feels to be different?
I think my, like, first semester self would be so shocked at the confidence that I've gained throughout community college and just, like, would just be really proud of me overall. I feel like, like I said, I was so introverted and I didn't apply myself in any opportunities in my first semester, but I really made the, choice to put myself out there, get a job on campus, make connections with wonderful people, and I did make a lot of amazing friends that I hope to stay connected with, and I don't know, I just feel like I've become definitely a new version of myself. I just feel a lot more confident and
Nice. That's so that's such an awesome I feel the same way, like, my experience at a community college, like, empowered me with, like, this it seems like an endless amount of self-confidence. Like, the best thing that I got, like, wasn't wasn't anything I learned in a class, it was, like, my community college taught me, like, how to believe in myself and gave me the confidence that, man, I could do, like, really good things. Like, like you, Ada, I was like, I'm not gonna call you a fuck up, but I was a fuck up. Yeah.
I mean,
And
almost, almost
and,
there.
like, what my school gave me was, like, the first time that I was like, "Man, like, I could do something great, or I could do something really cool." So, yeah, it gave me a lot of self-confidence too, like and it took me 4 years to get to that point. Not 2, but yeah, I totally share your transformation. How about you, Ada?
Um, yeah, I think same thing. I think my first semester self or just myself any time before CSM would just be like, "What? Like, how did this happen?" what? How, like, when did this become the goal? And like, what? Like,
Mhm.
I I remember when my sister, what's it called, was like in high school or something, and a lot of the times her friends would always ask me like what I wanted to do and like if I was interested in college, and I'd always be like, I never want to go to college. Like, I don't even like school. I
Mhm.
never want to do any of this. Even just thinking about those comments, and my sister would always be like, don't tell people that. That's not what you're supposed to tell people. And like just thinking about it now, I think my past self would just be like, when did this switch? Like,
Mhm.
and how did you get here? And like, you had to have done something. Like, what did you do? Like, there's no way, you know? And I'm just still in shock. I mean, we got I mean, never mind. We like, we got some good news. Like it's just it's crazy, like, even just thinking about passing such hard classes. I always make this joke, like, my grandma doesn't know what a derivative is or something, but, like, I it's true, like,
Mhm.
nobody in my family has ever gotten to where I am now. I mean, my brother went to college, but then for, like, maybe a
Yeah.
semester and then stopped, but nobody has gotten to this point in my family. There's nobody in my bloodline that has gotten here, and it's insane. I'm just like, "Wow, it was me." It's I'm almost getting emotional
Yeah,
because
so
it's
am
kinda, like,
I.
crazy, like,
Yeah,
how did
you're
I
like yeah,
yeah.
this may be an inappropriate thing to say, but, like, you're the king at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard
Yeah,
not to be cocky, It's really just like, especially I think a lot of people around me are also, like, reaching the same goals, but obviously everybody's goal to themselves feels
yeah,
so much bigger, and I just feel like this is insane, and I can already feel what is that syndrome called? Imposter
Oh, yeah,
syndrome,
yeah.
like, I can already feel like, why did they choose me? I
yeah.
mean, why did this happen? Kinda just like, why did it have to be me? But also,
Yeah.
thank God it's me,
I'm gonna
you
get to
know?
that at the very end. But yeah, like what
Mhm.
you're saying, it's like really profound stuff. Like both of you are articulating my exact I mean, it's obviously a much different journey, but like I feel like when I got to the end of my experience at my community college, I very much felt the same exact way that you guys are articulating how you feel now. Like it's an awesome thing. And then just, just to maybe echo what I'm hearing is like it doesn't even sound like you guys did anything that unusual while you were here. I wouldn't say you went through the motions, but like you just did like kind of what's expected of a community college student. You weren't like like you didn't do anything totally crazy, right? It was just, yeah, you fucking went to classes, you did your work, you joined your clubs, you like took advantage of the resources that were on. It's just like you just went through the experience, engaged the right way. And like if you just do things the right way, like great things can come from it. It's just really cool, inspiring. Okay, let's go with the last two questions. What advice would you give somebody who's just now stepping on to CSM's campus for the first time, getting ready to embark on the journey that you just finished?
Yeah.
Sure. I would say make friends with all your professors. Try and go to office hours. Take advantage of all the research. Like, there are so many resources on campus that I'm so like, wait, I still didn't even do some stuff, and we're finishing school in
Mhm.
like a week, and I'm just like, wow, I wish I did.
Mhm.
And I think also just take advantage of anything that's thrown at you. I forgot to mention this, but on top of obviously doing and like going to these office hours and just doing my work, I did a lot of extracurriculars as well. All of especially during the fall, the advice I'd give to just students that are not only stepping on campus but starting to apply and that haven't never done it before, there are so many programs and webinars
Mhm.
offered for CC students just to figure out how to apply, how like what to do once you get there, what programs are offered at these schools, and I joined all of those and added them all to my
Nice.
application. I mean, yeah, like, I spent so much time on these things that, like, I wouldn't let it go past me.
Mhm.
Um, sorry, let me go back to just somebody who's stepping first on campus. I would say just take advantage of actually everything. If you see something going on in your quad, go and check it out and see what's going on. You really don't know what opportunity is waiting for you.
And I think if I were gonna speak to someone who's just stepping foot at CSM or any community college, I would definitely first tell them that they belong here, but belonging isn't passive. You really have to apply yourself. You really have to hold yourself to a high standard. Because for me, at least, I feel like community college can feel really laid back, and it's so easy to treat your classes casually and just, push them off till later, but later does come really fast. Like,
Yeah.
these 2 years flew by, and it's insane.
And it's so corny, but actually
It
it's
was fast.
literally it's so fast.
It was so fast. So, yeah, just go to office hours, sit in the front of your classes, talk to your professors, join clubs because you never know you
Yes.
never know where that will take you. Just expand your network, make connections, make good relationships. I think that's how you'll
Nice.
succeed
I
at
like it.
community college.
Okay, let's end this on like the classic experience of like where you're at the moment. Like I personally remember my last semester at a community college, and then I also really remember like so I felt really excited about the fact that that part of my life was over and felt really confident like we were just talking about. But then I also was like, fuck, like I'm going off to the big leagues now. I'm a little fucking nervous about what's going to happen. Like I remember being nervous, excited. It was like I still can feel it like it was yesterday and it was 35 years ago for me. Like so like how do you guys feel right now? Like are you would you say you're mostly excited? Would you say you're nervous? Like how do you feel on the eve of having like going to UCLA and going to this school that you guys have put in your mind as being like, the shit? How do you feel?
You wanna go?
Sure. I think Well, first, graduating from CSM is just so bittersweet. I'm gonna miss so many of the people that I met here, but so thankful that she's joining me at UCLA.
Yeah.
So thank goodness I'll have someone there and I'll know someone. So that's definitely a sense of comfort knowing that she's gonna be there with me. We're gonna be probably living in the
That's
same
crazy.
dorm.
Yeah.
So that's a huge sense of comfort. And I'm definitely nervous. I'm definitely nervous of like the difference in academic rigor, my classes, having these really big lectures. That's something that definitely intimidates me, not being able to like, I guess, form such great connections with my professors. That's something that's definitely scary. But yeah, just bittersweet, nervous,
Nice.
but excited
Yeah.
too. I'm excited
Yeah.
to leave the Bay Area.
Yeah. I'm still pretty shocked and, even, just, like, like, I don't know, I mean, this stuff literally just happened, like, a
Mhm.
couple weeks ago. If you asked me at the end of the beginning of April, I would still be like, I don't know, like, me searching up, like, Reddit, how am I gonna get into school? Am I gonna get into I literally and I also still I'm joking about this now, but it was this serious. I literally remember putting my PIQs into Claude and asking if I was gonna get in and being like, "Please, like, be honest, like, I need you to be honest with me." And now I just have to go and sit down with Claude and say thank you because, I mean, they were
Nice.
in line, right? So, yeah, like, I'm very nervous. I'm thinking about all the help that my mom gave me and how I'm not gonna get that anymore. But I'm also very excited to live by myself. I think my mom still sees me as a little kid because during like we are like COVID kids, right? So we entered high school when COVID was happening. And since then, I think she's always seen me as like a baby. And I'm also the youngest in my family,
Mhm.
so of course she'll see me like that. And I think she'll really be able to accept me as an adult. And it's a really cool feeling, but also a very nerve-wracking and scary feeling. And like Gabby said, the academic rigor and being on the quarter system is gonna be
Oh,
really
yeah.
scary. I actually signed up for a summer class, and it's only 6
Wow.
weeks, and I'm
Yeah.
really scared to take it because I'm also gonna be working,
Mhm.
so I'm very nervous, but maybe and hopefully it'll give me a head start if
Nice.
I get a good
Mhm.
grade. Um and, another thing is, yeah, professors, like, I think I've always had a really close, connection with a lot of my professors. Even the ones that I barely talk to, they end up
Mhm.
being so cool and awesome. But I know that, like, a lot of the times you don't really talk to your professor and you talk to your TAs, and I'm like, "That's gonna suck." Like, I
Yeah.
really wanna talk to my professors. They're always, like, just such fun
I know.
people. Like,
You'll
I
find
mean,
your
it's
you'll find your
cool.
professors that you relate to and that you connect with. It's
Okay.
not gonna be like every single one of them, but
I'll
there will be those moments for you for sure.
It'll be the same thing with my tutor, like, I'll be their friend, but I don't know if they'll be mine.
Yeah.
They'll definitely be my best
Yeah.
friend, though.
You guys are gonna be great. Like, you'll do fine. All the things that you did here at CSM, you just start repeating the process, and then you obviously have to get better at certain things, like some of the habits that you formed, like, they need to change with the harder classes, but if you guys could do it again, the best thing I think I learned or I gained from from my community college was like this idea that I believed in myself, and I would just take that feeling and keep doing what you're doing and just like raise the bar and just, you know, you'll be able to get to the next level the way that you got to the next level here. You guys are going to be totally fine. If I give you any bit of parenting advice, I would encourage you guys not to like it's definitely a good thing that you guys are going to have each other to lean on, but don't use it as a crutch that prevents you from like going into spaces that you're not feeling comfortable with. Like Ada, if Gabby wants to go do something, or if you want to go do something that Ada doesn't want to do, you definitely need to like separate the two of yourselves from each other so that you take advantage of because it's going to go by. I remember my experience at Cal was fucking over before I even knew what hit me. It was like such an adjustment and I was felt like a fish out of water and it took me a couple of semesters to just get my feet under me. And then before I knew it, it was time to graduate. So it's going to happen really fast. And so just throw yourself into it. You guys are superstars. And so you'll do great.